Look, I've been very outspoken against a lot of things you've been saying and doing, Doodle. But let me just state this right now. It really doesn't bring me pleasure in arguing with you. But when you make mistakes in my eyes, I will call them out. It's nothing personal. That said, let's get this video underway. Hey guys, it's Kermitoa here with another video. Today we're going to be covering Doodletones, more specifically her video on 4chan users saying that Jake Goldman wrote a self-insert character in the Powerpuff Girls reboot. Let's go!
Success! So there's a character by the name of Jared Shapiro who was added to the show, and everyone just kind of believes it's a self-insert fan character of one of the writers, Jake Goldman, without really looking at all the evidence that's there. And so here's where I come in, because yeah, this is the same kind of utter retardation we saw with the twerking scene and the No Me Gusta and whatever fake controversy was out there that was used as kind of obviously a smear campaign against the new Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, smear campaign against a cartoon, who would have thunk it? I should also mention I haven't actually watched any episodes with this character in it, however with just a little bit of digging, a lot of that 4chan post doesn't add up as they're kind of just jumping to conclusions too quickly, I think.
Okay, so here's where problem number one rears its head, and trust me, you'll notice this later on. You admit you haven't seen the episodes with the character in question, yet you're going to try and debunk people who more than likely have. Meaning, your statements on the character are going off what you've heard about the character, rather than your own experiences with him, which is a lot less reliable.
So let's go down the list of evidence and point out why I personally think everyone is continuing to blow this out of proportion with evidence that, while is not unfounded, is extremely flimsy at best. So going down the list, we see someone say, one of the writers wrote an obvious self-insert, voiced it, and wrote it so that Blossom had a crush on the OC. This character only shows up in episodes that this specific writer writes for and is never mentioned otherwise. So we got a checklist. Obvious self-insert, voiced it, only shows up in episodes Goldman writes. Okay, first of all, how is it obvious? Is there a lot of personality traits given to Jared that Jake also has? How would anyone know this? Do you know Jake Goldman personally and see a bunch of similarities between him and the character? Stating that it's this obvious kind of brings this whole thing into question as it's not very clear on what it means.
Doodle, we both know what they mean, but fine. Let's go with the little statement you just said and answer that, shall we? I doubt many know the guy personally and know what his complete personality is like, I'll grant you that much. But the character's design is based on him, he voices the character, and the character serves as a crush to Blossom, a character that Jake Goldman has admitted to liking a lot. Does none of this really point you in the direction that, maybe, just maybe, he's wrote this in there for a reason? We're going to go in a little bit more detail about the evidence backing up this character being a cameo and why Doodle's points don't make much sense in a little bit here. For now, let's see what else she has for us.
He voiced it. So, you guys are aware this is not Jake Goldman's first role, right? It may be his biggest role, but it's certainly not his first time he's ever been in a voice role. He played a character named Saki within a movie called Trouble with Turkle. Now, I haven't seen the movie, nor will I pretend that I have, so I don't know what this character was in that, but given that Jared isn't his first role, something tells me that they were just looking for a person with his voice range to voice the nerdy little boy. But we'll get back to this later, I promise.
Yeah, this little piece of trivia is nice and all, but here's my question. What does him voice acting other characters and voice acting in a movie have to do with him voicing his self-insert exactly? You acknowledge he voiced him, which is what the 4chan users were using as a piece of evidence that he wrote this character as a self-insert. None of this seems relevant in the slightest.
Success! He looks like the guy, seems to be the next complaint. Right, because curly hair and glasses can only belong to one guy, right? No, you shouldn't just make assumptions like that. Curly hair and glasses don't mean shit and you know it. This was obviously designed this way on purpose due to the nature of the character being a nerdy stereotype. Come on guys, this shouldn't be that hard.
Similar hairstyle to Jake Goldman, wears glasses like Jake Goldman, same hair and eye color as Jake Goldman.
That's not obvious enough for me!
Success! This is retarded. And that's not even mentioning the fact one of the storyboard designers came out and straight up said, no, it's not a self-insert. It was designed this way with him in mind, but it's not what you think. Apparently, the Powerpuff Girls crew writes themselves for a lot of harmless cameos as a joke, and Jared's no exception.
I'm amazed you didn't see the issue here, Doodle. Truly, I am. No, we didn't write this character as a cameo for Jake Goldman. Our crew members have cameos written in as a joke, including Jake Goldman. Fuck it, I'm done. final thoughts time, because there's not much left to cover in this video. Doodle, I never thought the day would come when I make a commentary on you, but here we are. This video came off to me as stubbornly looking over evidence and presenting your opinions as fact because you're sick of the hit the reboot gets, and while I will agree it gets ridiculous at times, you really didn't help anything with this particular video. Anyway, that's all I had to say. This has been Kermit Toa, and before I go, I'll leave you with a screenshot from the Powerpuff Wiki that explicitly states it's a cameo of Jake Goldman. Your move, old friend.